Oh, my friends. Hello. It's gonna be it's gonna be a weird one, let me promise you. Welcome to another work jam with Knights Around a Table. I'm Ryan. Thank you for joining me. I see a few people are in chat right now since we started. Hey, Poppy, how's it going? Hey, Fractal Can Dream. Hey, Varus. Who else have we got here? Let me scroll through. Hopefully you can hear me. Why, man, such violent rhetoric off the top. I don't know what's going through my head. I think I've been playing too many bang bang shoot games. So ahoy, says Comrade Boris. Good to see you, and thank you so much for joining the old Discord server. Let me pop that up there. Go. Yeah, there it is. The Discord server. Comrade Boris knows that the coolest thing about Knights Around a Table is not the high quality, industry leading stop motion how to play videos. No, it's the community. It's the friends we've made along the way, isn't it, Comrade Boris? The nice people who are on that Discord server. They're lovely. The camera's a little bit closer than it usually is in my videos. I don't know if you can handle this. I'm having a little bit of a hard time with it. It's like right up my nose. I always self-conscious about grooming. Great. What are we doing? What are we even doing? Hey, game designer, good to see you. I don't know if you're the husband or the wife of the duo, or maybe you're both watching, but the game designer is going to be watching just before putting the newborn baby to bed, and I promised that this would be a great one to fall asleep to. So it's the week before Christmas, and maybe some of you are still working. You didn't quite get the time off before Christmas. Maybe you're planning on taking the time off after Christmas. I'm still working because I always work. It's my default state, but it was unusual this week because I actually took a weekend to myself, which I knew was a no-no. I shouldn't have done it, but I relaxed this weekend for 2 days instead of just like sweating and toiling my little fanny off. And now it's bad. Like inertia, man, has put me into like permanent weekend mode, and it's really hard for me to do things. And especially like, I don't know, when you got running around to do buying gifts and things. That was yesterday, but there's a task. If you've been watching these Work Jam streams, you know that there's a part of it that I procrastinate like crazy. If I'm doing it, it's fine. But just getting to the point where I'm doing it is the hardest thing in the world, and that's doing the photography step. So I have 3 concurrent projects going on, 3 how to play videos going on, and I've brought them all to the same point. They're all right to the point where I've blocked them. So I've written the scripts and I've annotated them and I've numbered the shots, and I voiced them over and I edited the voiceover, and I went into Premiere Pro and I got the tracks laid down, and I've blocked out all the parts where it's going to be me talking to the camera. And now I just have to do the photography of the game, and I can't get there. But the nice thing about that, it's absolutely brutal. The nice thing about that is these are the periods when I'm at my most insanely creative, because I'm doing anything I can possibly think of to not have to do photography on these projects, and I'll just float into weird other stuff. So that's what I'm doing today. I'm floating into weird other stuff. Let me switch to the screen view. Do you have a task like that that's just like, man, you can't bring yourself, just can't do it? Industry leading stop motion videos are a close second. They are a close second, yes. Come for the guy in jammy pants goofing off in Blender, and stay for the industry leading. Here we go. Hey, I'm good to see you. Both the Mr. and Mrs. are watching from the game designer account. Glad to have you both. The cure for that is chop stab games, says Overon. Yeah, I did a little bit of that. There was you may know I play overwhelmingly too much Overwatch, and No Man's Sky supplanted that a little bit. I find Overwatch just more, I'm terrible at it, and I get exploded all the time, but it's good time no matter what. I should tell you what I've been working on though, and why we're in Blender. First things first, check this out. Let's pop over to a browser. So I've been printing this bad boy on my 3D printer. Look at this. This is for Xia Legends of a Drift System, which you've seen me play on stream, hopefully with my friend Dave, and I hope to play a whole lot more of it because I quite like this game. So if you noticed, I did a reboxing a few weeks ago, and that was with my very first ever foam core insert from Folded Space, and that was a good time. I put it all together, but I am leaning heavily towards plastic in my desire for inserts for board games, and I feel like it's a bit of a, I don't want to say mental illness, but like, I don't know, we board gamers do strange things, don't we? We'll buy, you can confess that you did this. I think this is one of the board game sins that we were talking about when we were playing or at Labora, is it like if you've bought an expansion for a board game and you don't own the base game? Well, this is kind of along those lines. If you if you have an insert for a game and then you just make or buy another insert for the game. So I had the Folded Space thing, but this is so cool. Check this out. So this is for Xia. You can already see, what is this cool noise about. Well, let me click on a couple of pictures here. That's the player box. That's fine. So I made these player boxes. Hold on, let me dig them out. They're right in front of me on the screen. So that's the player boxes. They're just, you know, rectangles. There's nothing too excited about that. But I waited until my birthday, and my mommy bought me PLA in different colors so that I could print the boxes in all 4 different player colors, which was pretty cool. The only one I'm not super happy with is the yellow, because it was supposed to be normal yellow, and then I got out of the box is like neon yellow, so it looks kind of like radioactive. But anyway, 4 player boxes, fine. So those are the player boxes. But then check this out. If you've ever played the expansion to Xayah, let me just click along here until I find it. I think I passed it. Well, there's this too. There's the nice caddy. So the folded space insert, there's a space and you plunk the tiles down. But this has a nice little, you know, stick the, I don't know. Do you need that? No, probably not. The space is fine. The folded space solution is perfectly fine. It works out, but you know. And then, where's the shoot? I can't find the picture. So this is like a tray of all these pieces. Now, unfortunately, this is the one big drawback. Well, Ron's like, I need to print this Xayah insert, but it's not due for quite a while. Oh yeah, it's going to take a while to come, right? So I don't want to waste the shelf for it. I know I got all these pieces all over my table, and it's like, I don't know about you, but it's kind of like not until I print the last piece can I actually go and delve into the box and put everything where it's going to go. So the one drag is that this piece that you see on the screen right now is too big for smaller printer beds like mine. So I had to print it in 2 pieces. So I got to find a way to fuse those, whether it's through glue or maybe Santa will bring me one of those 3D pens. You might have seen them at like higher end toy stores where you put PLA in the butt end of them, and then you can like basically draw in 3D, right? And it just melts PLA in strands, and you can make little really weak little sculptures with them. I thought they were kind of interesting at first, and I thought, no, that's super dumb. But now that I have a 3D printer, apparently that's a good way to fuse pieces together, is you kind of like weld them with a 3D pen. So now I'm back to being interested in it, because glue doesn't always do the trick. I glued something this thin with the Caverna expansion, but it was dicey. And this is like 4 different points that all have to come together at the same time. But those carry these little caddies, as you see from the picture. And these little caddies are where the cool thing is, because you snap them all together. Now, I had trouble because they don't really snap together. I'm gonna have to like sand them down. I was sanding one of them. Where's my sanded one? This is like, what are you getting yourselves into? This is a crazy stream already. I think this is the one that I sanded. So they puzzle these together like so. That one fit pretty well. So the sanding's doing a good job. Except I don't like the scuffy look that you get to things when you sand them. I don't know how to make it smooth yet. But you snap all those together, and then when they all go together, you've got like a space in the middle for your economy board, and then all the little troughs hold the cubes. Super cool, great design, love it, couldn't wait to print it. Here we are. Ouch, that hurt. And then they all rest in that piece that I just showed you, that you see up on your screen. And the other super cool thing, this is the piece that I'm printing right now in the other room, is they've got these bays for all the spaceships. Look at that, right? So the way I'm working it now is I always pull the stands off of the ships, and I got the stands in a bucket with the folded space insert, and the ships are in their own bucket. And I try to organize them according to, there's like level 1 ships, level 2 ships, level 3 ships, and there are like NPC ships that just fly around and do things. And this has different like bays, different pods for all that. This is so cool. Oh my gosh, they slide it. You don't ever have to take them off the stands. And I was really worried about that, because I worried I would be making like the spaceship butthole like too big when I, constant in and out of the, it's a bit graphic, but great. Back to comments. I'm so sorry, you guys. I'm not paying attention. Back. Comrade says, Discord, chef's kiss. Great. I had an expansion, says Varys, arrived today for a game I didn't own yet. For shame, Varys. Which expansion was it? I need to print that. Okay, yeah, I covered that. It seems like that piece has a lot of empty spaces. The reason for that. Oh, who's following? Thank you so much for the follow. Leo Filante? Thank you so much, Leo, for the follow. Appreciate you being here. What do we say? It seems like that piece, which piece has a lot of empty space? The one with the ship bays, is that the piece that you're talking about? Because if that's the case, all I see is like expansion slots for other ships. That's the other really cool thing about Xayah, is that they have, I believe, provided STL or model files. We'll talk about STLs in more depth in a second. For all of the existing ships, or at least a few of them anyways, and they have encouraged players who like Xayah to go and like flippin' make their own ships for the game. So the design of this looks like it's ripe for, like, you know, you could slot in a few other stands and ships there. Pretty cool. I've never printed with clear PLA, so I don't know if it will work out well, but I do have clear resin for my resin printer, so I might be able to print some nice stands. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Oberon says, sand it gently and then run it over with a lighter flame. Yeah, you've mentioned lighters before. It'll smooth it up and bring back the gloss. Lighter. I don't know if I can be trusted with open flames. I just don't know. I don't know. Can you use the heat gun like for shrink tubes on wiring? Yeah, I think you've asked me that before, Varys. The heat gun that I have looks like a hairdryer, like it's a big thing. And the aperture, the mouth, the business end is just like this big. But then you look at the thing that I would want to, you know, work on is this big. So I would love like a little tiny like dollhouse heat gun or something, just something that has like a really focused beam. You know, I've used a soldering iron before on the bed, because every once in a while you'll get lift or curl of pieces coming off the bed, and it's like, get down. Before, I used to have, before I replaced my fan shroud with a custom printed 3D piece, the stupid fan shroud was constantly getting caught on little lifty bits and would just like pop right off, fly across the room. It was really ridiculous. So now it's a little bit better when I've got this like the piece is moving, right? Not the print head. But I was freaked out about that, so I smoothed it down with a soldering iron. But I like a better thing. I'd love a little tiny, I've said this before, I'd love a little tiny flat iron that you can adjust the temperature of and just like, you know, iron down pieces. Because even like, I think it would help with some of the printer lines on things. That's the reason I didn't want to get a PLA printer, was I didn't like the lininess of all the pieces. But I don't know. Map gas torch. Burn it to the ground. Wait a second. No. Shush you. Yep, that too. Butthole. Yeah, spaceship butthole. I don't know what to call it. Aperture. Sounds a bit demure. The secret... Oh, you got the secret stash expansion in Merchant's Cove. Merchant's Cove was one that I was very, very interested in. However, I wasn't so huge on Root, and Merchant's Cove is like a similar idea to Root, right? Like you have... Everybody's playing their own kind of mini game while you're all playing the same game together. What I just found that Root was like... I don't know, somebody else taught it to me, and I almost never like a game that somebody else teaches me. It's a weird thing. Like, I have to go through the entire rule book, you know, cover to cover, and if somebody else does that, and like they'll skip over things, of course, because we don't have, you know, 6 hours to learn how to play. But that happened to me with Root, and I think Root is the kind of thing to really play and play well and enjoy playing. I think you need to know what everybody's doing and how they're doing it, and I had a lousy time the very first time I played. For focus heat, you can take small pieces of metal like a screwdriver and heat it with a propane torch. You guys are nuts. If you want, by the way, this is the same person talking who uses chainsaws to carve things on the regular. So we're just going to take that with a little bit of craft, a grain of salt, a Mononoke iron, or Monokote. Monokote, is that how you say that? Monokote iron sounds like what you need. It's got a temperature dial designed to put plastic on model flying planes. Ooh, let's Google image search that. Monokote iron. Let's see. Ooh. Oh, dear Santa, I have a new wish for Christmas. I didn't even know this thing existed. How big are they? They look very big. Do they make them tiny? Could I say mini and then see, like, do they make mini little ones? That's interesting, though. It's good that it has a temperature dial, too, because that's the other thing. Is like, oh, you heat your iron up and then you go and it just smears a whole piece, right? That's interesting, though. Oh, let me see. Oh, you guys are talking so much. That's great, though. Please do. Please talk. I love Root. My wife wanted to table flip. Yes, I'm with your wife. Merchant's Cove. Monokote iron. I'm distracted with the iron now. Merchant's Cove is much more approachable than Root is in its asymmetry. That's what it looked like. It looked like it'll do a similar thing to Root, but not be as frustrating as Root. 3 to 4 inches long. I hope we're still talking about the iron. I'm just missing things. Great. Okay, I'm caught up. Good. 3 to 4 inches long. Monocote. What do they cost? Let's find out. Let's go to Canadian Amazon, which is just a sad, scary place. I'll show you why if you're from America in just a second. Oh, look how many. This one's little. Oh, look how little this is. Aw, it's just cute. Oh, it's like a soldering iron. They get a little flat iron attachment to it. 36 bucks. Arrives in one day. Add to cart. I'll show you why. I don't know. Name a game. Scythe. Let's look at Scythe. What does Scythe cost? 91 bucks. Actually, that's pretty similar to if we go to like 401 Games. 401games.com. And we look up what does Scythe cost at 401 Games. This is a, yeah, 72. So just to compare the prices, we'll do that with a couple of things. Amazon, 91 bucks. 72 bucks here. I don't know. Name another game. Well, we'll go like terraforming Mars. So like in America, so okay, so the big box is 181. Let's compare terraforming Mars. I don't even know if they have they do have the big box, 130. Look at that, like a $50 price difference. The stuff, the pricing on Amazon for board games in Canada is pants on head, just dumb, just nutso, stupid, crazy, never do it. I've been buying lots from Board Game Bliss. I'm liking the US to see a bucks conversion. Board Game Bliss is a wonderful store. It's 401 used to be my favorite, Board Game Bliss, but that was when I lived up the street from them. And then I moved out of Toronto, and the closest one, I went east of Toronto, and in the middle is place called Markham, and that's where Board Game Bliss is. And so it's like a warehouse. You go in there and they like share a space with like a cell phone case company. It's kind of weird, and they're kind of like in serviced industrial land, sort of near a big mall, but not close enough to have big mall rent, I'm sure. Although they have just moved, so that's a drag. They moved to a place called Thornhill. That's more like out of the north end of the downtown, quite a bit north. So anyway, let's just compare prices here. Tour for I don't even know but the neat thing about Board Game Bliss is that they have stuff, man, they buy stuff that you cannot find in other places. Their big box standard edition 111 to 137. Yeah, so that's more like a normal price for that product, not like whatever the stop stealing our Canadian game stock, jerk. No, it's fine. They service American buyers. But I thought this was interesting. Check this out. They have certain so this game's on my radar because the crew on Discord has made me interested in it, but not available. It's only on pre-order. This game called Obsession. That's kind of like a Downton Abbey sort of Pride and Prejudice kind of thing. Yeah, pride, intrigue, and prejudice in Victorian England. But I thought this was interesting. You can't get this if you're a US customer. You can't get upstairs, downstairs, because I guess there's some sort of distributor exclusiveness to it. You only get that there. I find that I was going to say, between the three different big game stores in Toronto, there's 401 Games, there's Board Game Bliss, and there's Meeple Mart. MeepleMart.com. And I used to go to Meeple Mart when they were over on Coxwell, and there's another warehouse, and the owner of it was like living in a loft above the warehouse and selling board games from downstairs. But this is MeepleMart.com. But just going into the places, there's just like each store has its own character and quality, and the owners buy stock from maybe they have slightly different distributors, but you'll get a different flavor in each store, and it's really neat to browse each one. Like with MeepleMart.com, I see a whole lot more like GMT stuff. They've got a lot more of like the heavy duty, super boring cardboard square shit only war game kind of things, and a lot more games that are like from Queen Games and other publishers that do really I think aggressively boring is the term somebody introduced me to, aggressively boring historically based things where it's like you're a provost in the 14th century, I don't know, Brussels, or I don't know, whatever, I don't know my history, but just, you know, that kind of thing. What are we doing? Tell me more. I have no knowledge of this Obsession game. Yeah, right. You full of baloney. If you go to the Discord server again, there's the link. All you hear about is Obsession all day long from all of these people who are all playing it about 7 times a day. It feels like anyway. What am I doing today? Boy, it's taken me a while to get to it, hasn't it? What I'm doing today is I'm in a program called Blender, because I've had tremendous success procrastinating in the past couple days, not wanting to do photography, but goofing off in Blender and doing a little bit of box modeling. And I don't know how experienced you guys are with 3D anything, so I don't know. I really am conscious of sounding like I'm speaking down to people or sounding like I'm going too fast for people. I guess you'll have to tell me in the chat. You'll be like, duh, Ryan, yeah, we know that. Let me begin at the beginning. If you want to make your own stuff to print on your own 3D printer, or even just make your own stuff for like, I don't know, you want graphics for, I don't know, whatever you want to do. I don't know, you just want to make stuff. This is great. This is a piece of 3D software that used to be a paid product, and then I forget what happened with the company, but it went free, and the community, I think the company might have gone out of business, and they're just, here, have our source code, it's yours now, and the community went and took that and ran with it. I think that's what happened, might be wrong, but they worked on it over the years and have just turned it into this absolute beast. It is the most, I think, the most value that you will ever get out of a free piece of software. It's the most capable free piece of software I've ever seen in my entire life. It's nuts. It does 3D modeling, texturing, rendering, animation. It does 2D animation. It is a game engine. It's not like, the amount of stuff it does is nuts. And what's really cool is if you're like me and you kind of like cut your teeth on the Adobe suite, it does things bizarrely that the Adobe suite doesn't do, and does them in a way that feels super unintuitive at first, but the way that it's been designed is so that you can do things and really decrease repetitive strain on your hands, because you can wreck the tendons in your hand doing really stupid big old stretchy things. You control, and then you control P on the other side of the keyboard, and just stuff like that, and just doing repetitive click motions, and just everything in Adobe Suite is relegated to the left mouse button, while this kind of spreads it out along the mouse. And of course, it's all configurable and customizable, but it is so, or it was such an opaque piece of software that the very first time I opened it, here's what you would see the very first time you open it. You're like, oh, that's weird. And I actually went to school for 3D animation and modeling, and we used to use 3D Studio Max. And in 3D Studio Max, you'd have 4 viewports. One would be the top, one would be the left, one would be the perspective view or the user view, and one would be, I don't know, top left side, so on, front, whatever, like, so you get 4 views. And so you would see all the different angles of this cube. This is all you would see if you opened up, if you open up Blender, you just see this and you'd be like, oh, is this a box? Is this a cube? You couldn't even tell. If you click on it, that wouldn't happen, but this stupid 3D cursor would just move around wherever you clicked, and you wouldn't be able to select anything. And it's like, what the heck is going on? I actually had to buy a book, Blender for Dummies, that explained everything. You didn't even see all these buttons all over the screen, and in order to get views, there was like secret, like you'd have to like pull down these secret lines that were hiding at the side of the screen in order to open menus. It was nuts. It was just nuts the way it was designed. This is Blender 2.9, much better. What made you choose Blender over Fusion 360? I just haven't used Blender Fusion 360. Would you recommend it? Is it better than Blender? Let me know. I don't know. I haven't used it. I don't think I've used it. Here, let's take a look at the Fusion 360. Maybe I've downloaded it once or twice. This is what Fusion 360 looks like. I don't know. I don't know. Is it also free? Tell me. Oh, Autodesk. I like to avoid things what are Autodesk. So what happened was there used to be 3 different competing pieces of 3D software, and they were 3D Studio, which later became 3D Studio Max when it hit version something, 3 point something, and Softimage, which is out of Montreal. I think 2 or 3 of them were Canadian. So there was 3D Studio, Softimage, and the third one was Houdini. Whoa, that's taking me back. And Softimage became Maya. I forget what happened to Houdini. They folded or became something else. Anyway, Autodesk basically bought all 3 of them, owned all the huge 3D animation pieces of software, and then decided to charge $4,000 for them each per year. Thank you very much. So if you wanted to own one of these things, you had to pay them $4,000 per year per seat. I think it was either per seat or per user. So if you had 2 people using the same computer, I remember, I think one of them was per seat, because it used to be like they would have this computer sitting there and like they'd have people on in shifts, right? Because they were paying $4,000. They wanted to get the most money out of it possible. So they'd have somebody sit at the seat, from 9 to 5, and then somebody come in for the night shift from 6 o'clock onward to use it, because you otherwise you were losing money, right? So Oh, Fractal Contrine says Blender has an amazing community, right? Anyway, Blender better. If you see down here, I've got the keystroke showing up, so you can actually see what I'm doing with my mouse. So if you use the middle mouse button and do this, you can just orbit it, and you find out that yes, in fact, it is a cube. And if you hold Shift down and use the middle mouse button, that's how you strafe in video game terms, or that's how you pan around. So what we see going through here, this is the red x-axis, and this is the green y-axis. And from here on the gizmo, you can see that the Z, it's a Z up world. So Z is implied going up and down through this thing in the third dimension. Different 3D packages have different orientations. They're not all consistent. Some are not Z up. So be warned. Always know where your axes are going. What am I doing? This is what I'm doing. I was playing Anachrony on the stream last week, and I thought, man, I've thought this before. Wouldn't it be cool if this statue, if I had, like, it's all minis, right? And they don't need to be there, but you're happy that they are, kind of thing. Like, they're really cool. So I thought it would be really cool to have another super unnecessary mini in the middle of the table, a la the Everdell Evertree. It's just a big 3D pointless thing. I just thought it'd be great. Why not? And I thought, man, it'd be cool to have that statue. It's a 4-face statue. Now, you can only see 3 faces on the thing. But if you read the lore of the game, it talks about in the future, during the Day of Purgation, when the meteor... Is it when the meteor hit? No, it wasn't when the meteor hit. Oh, I forget my lore. But anyway, they built this big statue in the middle of town, devoted to the 4 different factions that are kind of running the show. And Anachrony is all about you playing one of the factions and trying to, like, be the guy. You want to be the guy that everyone adheres to, and everyone follows the ethos of going on into the future after this big cataclysmic event happens that involves time travel. So each of the 4 factions is represented by one of these faces. So we presume that there's a face sticking out the back of it. And then when I played against the solo bot, this is the miniature for the chrono bot. Here, I'll bring it up a little bit closer. Somebody's asking on the stream, well, like, it looks weird. Why does it have like those weird 4? It's got 4 faces. It's got one of its on its tummy, one on each arm, and then one on the back for dancing. And I said, well, that's like, I think that's an homage to the statue that they build. Dance robot. It's like, hold on, wait. Let me cue up some. Hold on. This is gonna work. It was like do and spin. No, don't waste all your robot moves. That's like a secret menu. I didn't disable the dance robot dance command, but thank you. Making a dice tower for research. Dice tower, that's interesting. I'll tell you what I want to do with it. Zed smirks in America. Did I say Zed? Did anyone say Zed? I didn't say Zed. I say Z. I'm a bad Canadian. Anyway, dice tower is interesting, but check this out. Wouldn't this be cool? So in the game, like, when the meteor hits, all hell breaks loose, the Capitol catches on fire, spaces start collapsing. I thought it'd be really cool to make it so that part of the head, like, I do a fault line through a couple of the faces, and you can, like, crack the head open, and there's, like, you know, oh, this is a little bit ridiculous. You know those things that you can get that, like, simulate flames because they got, like, fabric and, like, a little fan and they blow it? Wouldn't it be cool to do some lights and to have a little fan blowing flames out the hole busted in the statue? Oh, that'd be so cool. I definitely said Z. Oh, did I say Z axis? There's no way I said Z axis. Did I say Z axis? Oh my God, what's happened to me? I'm becoming Canadian more. And dice tower. Oh God, there's no reason it can't be a dice tower. For sure. But this is what I want to do. Is this ambitious? You'd think it was ambitious, but I'm telling you, I wasn't going to show you this, but I've had a good week modeling in Blender. Let me just show you a little sneak preview of what I've been working on, what I got going in Blender this week. Yeah. Okay, enough of that. All right, this is a sneak preview. Get out of here. New general, right? Cool. Very excited. I was bolstered by that success, and I thought, man, if I can do that, I can do this. So let's do this. Just like when I'm showing a board game, Lights and Fan may be ambitious, but I'm 100% for the broken faces thing. Doesn't that sound awesome? At least I can do the broken faces thing. Like, at least I can do that. All right, back to Blender. You know how, like, when I play games, I try to know all the rules, but then some games it's impossible. So, like, Anachrony playing against Solo was one of those, but less so than Tricarian, where it's just like, there's no way I'm going to have to ride the rulebook the entire time. So that's not going to be this. I know a little bit of how to get around in Blender. I know a little bit of things, but I may just have to duck out to some manuals like once or twice just to figure out what I'm doing. Rules Gremlin is impressive. I thank you. I was pretty excited about it. Okay, so here's the very first thing that we're going to do. This is a box, and what you can do with the box in Blender is when you select it or anything else in Blender, and you can have a whole bunch of shapes. You can hit Shift A, and you'd be like, "Look, give me a cylinder," and there's your cylinder. The weird thing about Blender is that if you wanted to move this thing, now they're in the same spot. If you wanted to move one off of the other, this is one of the craziest things. You hit the G key. What does G stand for? Grab. Oh man, that was so nuts when I read that in Blender for Dummies. I was like, meh. So you can move it all over the place, but if you kind of like want to move it along one of these axes, like if you want it to stick to the y-axis, just type the letter Y, and now it conforms to the y-axis. If you want it to adhere to the z-axis, hit Z and do that. If you want it to like adhere to two axes but not the third one, so if you don't want the Z axis included, you hit Shift Z, and now you can do the X and Y and it won't move it along the Z. If you just want it to go along X and Z, you don't want the Y, you hit Shift Y, and now it's just doing X and Z, right? And if you hit Shift X, it'll just do the X, the Y and Z, and it'll skip the X. You see? If you right click, it puts it back down where you were originally putting it. So just select it and hit, so you can do, the point is you can add other things. Any primitive, this is called a primitive, any primitive that you have, you can go in and mess around with the core of it. So if you select it and hit tab, this actually kind of like shows you what's going on under the hood. And anything in 3D is made out of 3 different types of bits. So this one is made up of, well, like they all are made up of vertices. So singular is vertex and plural is vertices. If you say vertice referring to one of them, I will punch you in your face because that drives me nuts. Vertex, vertices. Serenity now. So the little points are vertices. The things that connect the 2 points are called edges. So up here, you can see these 3 buttons represent them. So if I hit the number 1, I'm on vertices. If I hit the number 2, I can select edges. So connecting the vertices or edges. If I hit 3, it's the faces. Now, it used to be in 3D that a face could only be made when it was all triangles. You've heard maybe if you played video games, you're like, oh, how many polys are there? How many triangles are there? It used to be just triangles, and now, thank goodness, it's a lot more user-friendly because this is really, a square is 2 triangles, right? Like you can picture the line, the hypotenuse going down the middle here of these 2 triangles, and it's just implied now. Oh, thank you so much for gifting a sub. An anonymous gifter gave Poppy a tier 1 sub. Well, that's so kind of you, anonymous gifter. I'm sure Poppy appreciates that too. So, by the way, if you have an Amazon Prime account, we were talking about Amazon Prime, and you go to Amazon Prime Gaming, you have a free subscription that you can spend on any creator on twitch.tv, including this guy right here. And the way you do that is you log in to here, and then you would link your account, link your Twitch account. You got to have a Twitch account. Those are free, no problem. And then you would tell it like, I want to subscribe to, for example, Nights Around a Table. And it says, okay, cool. For the next month, you get a free subscription that's part and parcel of your Amazon Prime Gaming account. That's worth $5. Normally you'd have to pay $5 for it, and $2.50 of that goes to this guy right here. So if you'd like to do that, you have to refresh it, by the way, every single month. If you've done that in the past and you haven't done it in a month or more, then you got to just head on back to this web page and do the same thing that you did. back to this. So we got faces, vertices, and edges. And this, so, you know, if we were to grab this vertex, we could just do like this. And so now you're like, oh, we can make something that's slightly more interesting than just a box. But not all that much more interesting, because it's, no matter what, it's always going to be polyhedral with six faces, right? It's still like just kind of like a goofed up cube that's had a few too many. We can get even more interesting than that, of course. So we can like select faces and we can extrude them. So if you do that, well, look, now we got like double the geometry, and we can do that. Oh my gosh. And we can do that. Oh, look at that. And we can do that. Very, very cool. Now we got like a Tetris piece. Very fun. And then of course, like if you want to get even fancier, you can go in here like this and goof off those vertices. I'm going to say vertice and I have to punch myself in the face. So that's the situation with that. And then you can get like even, you know, cooler. So you can go like this and you can hit the I key and do an inset face. And then extrude, and you can extrude like backwards. And then you can make like the tunnel from everyone's favorite Christmas movie. Yippee-ki-yay, Mr. Falcon, or whatever. I don't know, whatever you're doing. Then you can like insert that even further and then extrude that. And now you got whatever the heck that thing is, you know? So, yeah, you can do, and then you go to the top view and you can hit rotate. And so R lets you rotate, and you can rotate around. So yeah, you can really get crazy like that. But then you're like, is it always going to look so boxy and dumb? Well, no. What I did with the gremlin, hold on, I should bring the gremlin back up. I wasn't going to show you because I wanted to do more work on them, but I'm pretty excited. I'm pretty impressed with myself. Pretty happy. This is the, by the way, this is the standard gremlin, and this is the gremlin that's more faithful to the actual drawing that I originally did of him. The changes are these feet. I thickened up his feet a little bit so that he'd stand properly, but he is an asymmetrical beast. And when I modeled him, I put we'll see this in a second, I put a mirroring modifier on so that I just had to model half of him and the other half came in perfectly. But the problem is he's not a perfect creature at all. So then at the very end, as a finishing touch, I had to go in and twist one of his ears. This, obviously, his little curly Q up top is not symmetrical, so I had to do that additionally. And then I just kind of like, there's this concept in animation that you're not supposed to, if you have like a character and they're moving both of their arms and they're both going at the same time, it looks really robotic, and that's called twinning, and you're supposed to avoid twinning. Nobody is like, you know, except for maybe Zuckerberg, nobody's just like da 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 da, dance, robot dance. So you have to avoid twinning. Is just things looking more natural when you avoid twinning. So I just took his one arm, and you can see just it's a little bit higher, and the rotation's a little bit different than in his left one. I also added details that aren't in the drawing. You don't see his back, so I went through and I added all these little, you know, spine bumps along his spine. This is really tough, getting the little star on his tail to print. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I gave him a little butt, couple little butt cheeks next to his tail. So if we go into this one, this is the one that I was actually modeling, you'll see the whole thing is just, it started with the cube. This is what we call box modeling. And then you put on a modifier. Let me just hide it here. You put on a modifier that smooths the mesh all out. So that's it smoothed, and that's it unsmoothed. And so you can kind of see, like, it's complicated and it took hours, but you can kind of see how it was just a box, and I just extruded bits of it and stretched them out and, you know, placed the vertices in different places and eventually got this. Right? So that's what I'm going to do with this Anachrony thing. Back to it. New, general, don't save. But save this. Save as... do Anachrony. Anachrony Tower. Here we go. So I bring that up because this Anachrony Tower is going to be four-way symmetrical, not just two-way symmetrical, but four-way symmetrical. So that's one of the very first things we got to do is set that up so we're modeling four-way symmetrically. David Wapta says, okay, that is awesome. Can you 3D print from Blender? I don't know. I don't think it does slicing. So just to quickly explain this for those of you who don't have 3D printers, the way 3D printers work, this is both the SLA and the PLA stuff, is they build the model in layers, right? So they basically take a thing and they cut it up into slices, and so they know what each slice is supposed to look like. And in an SLA printer, they emulsify, or they solidify resin using UV lights because they have a picture of what each layer is supposed to be. And when you stack all those layers together, you know, like when people do book carving, when they carve into pages of a book and you get a nice sculpture, if you've ever seen that. Hold on, let me just see. I just got to look up. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about. Book carving. This is like the best way to sort of figure it out. It's like this. You know what I mean? Like if you took every single one of those is just like a page in the book, right? But you can sculpt it. That's all that a 3D printer does. And the way that the PLA printer works is that it slices the model up into little layers and then just prints each layer one at a time. So I don't know if Blender does slicing, but it does. You can export what's called an STL file, which is like, it's kind of like the TXT file of 3D. It's kind of like the generic file that you can put anywhere. Any 3D software should be able to open it. So you crank out an STL file and then you bring it into a piece of slicing software that does all that slicing and will let you print. Hopefully that answers your question. Love your explanation, says Practical Dream. They're always not what I expect and excellent. Oh, thank you. I adore teaching and I wish I could do it more. Here we are back in Blender. So what we got to do is we got to get this so that it is quadrilaterally mirrored. I don't know if that's the right word, but we take the box, and this is what I'm pretty new to this process, but we can go down here to this little wrench and hit add modifier, and we can hit the mirror modifier. That's fine. We're mirrored along the x-axis. When we go dip in using tab and we do that, well, now that's what I did with the rules gremlin, right? So I got that going, but that's not enough. We got to get it going 4 ways. So here's what we do. We create a new thing called an empty. And an empty is just like, if we were to hide this, I'm going to hit the H key and hide it. An empty is just like, hi, I'm just a whatever. I don't exist. There's no geometry to me. I'm just a thing. I'm just an axis describing a point in space and which direction up is. That's what an empty is. Alt H unhides things. Here's my cube. So we need that empty, and we're going to rotate the empty. So we're going to rotate it, not 30, 90 degrees here and 90 degrees here. Why are we doing that? Well, because now we can go back to our cube and we can add another modifier. And the modifier we're going to add is going to be an array modifier. So I can tell it I only want... I want 2 things, sure. I want this at 0 offset. And I'll show you... Well, actually, I'll put it not at 0 offset and show you the problem with it. So... If I go in and edit this now, and I hit this and I extrude, it's kind of like, it's got 2 of them side by side, if that makes any sense, and that's not really what we want. What we want is, first of all, I don't want that offset happening, so I want to hit 0. So when I do it now, it's still doing it. It's still there. The other one is still there. It's just it's on top of the first one, so they're just like that. But if we tell it down here, click Object Offset, and we pick the empty that we made. Hopefully this works. Oh, yes. Sweet bippy. So that's great. Is that exactly what I want? Oh my gosh, now that I think about it, I thought I was so fancy. I think I want it even more granular, because if this is going to be a face, I'd really like to work on half the face over here, have it mirrored over here. Hold on, let's see if I grab one of these things and move it around. Yeah. I definitely want it. Oh, darn, I thought I was out of the woods. Hold on. Let me think. It's like when I play a board game. Let me think. Okay. It's almost like I want that whole thing mirrored one more time, isn't it? I wonder what happens if we just add one more... Can we add a mirror modifier on top of that? Is that crazy? Oh, interesting. That does not do what I want it to do. Okay, let's back it up here. Get rid of all of these. You one piece? Yes, you're one piece. Let me get rid of this face. Dissolve face. If we deleted this face, it would just take the face out and leave all the geometry inside. So that's not what we want. We actually want to dissolve the face. Where's dissolve face? Dissolve faces. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Okay, let me try this. Go to the top, go to vertices, hit this, hit delete, hit dissolve vertices. That's closer to what I want. Oh, but it didn't select the bottom ones. And that's because when you're in the top, we're looking at an opaque view. And if you hit Alt-Z, now we can see through it. See how it's see-through? Alt-Z, it's not. So you got to worry about this opaque see-through thing with Alt-Z. So if we were opaque and we selected these vertices, it wouldn't select the bottom ones because we can't see through to those ones, if that makes sense. But if we were see-through, we could select them, and now it selects all 4 of them. Delete, dissolve, we're good. So, all right. Think. Okay, so what I know is this. I want to add a mirror modifier. Ooh, I thought I had this figured out before the stream, and now... Okay. We want to add a mirror modifier. So let's say we're working on the face. We want to hit clipping. And the reason for that is... Oh, do I have extra geometry in here? I'm going to start again from the beginning. Shift A, mesh, cube. Great. All right. Into here. Add modifier, mirror. Just in case I did something like really goofy. Oh no, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's doing my head in just a little bit. We're going to mirror along the Y. No, we're not. We're going to mirror along... What do I want it to do? I don't know where we're getting that doubling. Software's always been super intimidating to me, says Fractal Dream. It's fun to watch someone else tool around with it. I had this figured out. I swear I did. All right. So we add clipping. Let me just duck out to my super successful, my super successful 3D rules gremlin and see how I had it set up. Rules gremlin. So your modifier is set up so that you're on mirror, you're clipping, and you're on the x-axis. Looks good to me. Okay. So, mirror modifier, mirror, x-axis, clipping is on. Yes. Right, so if I take the whole thing and I grab it and throw it along the... Yes, okay, I see what's going on now. Perfect, it's good, it's good, it's good, it's good. Yeah, okay, so picture that that is the front of my face. On my face, the front of the statue's face. We're good. So you can see that we would be able to like model away and, you know, get a whole face going there. So now, in order to get it 4 ways, I think that we have to add an empty. This is where it gets weird. And we'll go third, not 30, 90, 90. Okay, great. You are going to get a new modifier, which is going to be array. Okay, good. The offset's going to be 0. And we're going to pick as a constant offset. No, sorry. Object offset, we're going to pick the empty. Okay. All right. This is going to get wild. So now when we go in and start modifying this, it's not, oh, it is. Oh, look, it's mirroring it down there and at the bottom. So that just means that I have the empty rotated the wrong way. So let's try 0. Okay, good. Let's try -90. No. Okay. Let's try a 180. That's... Nope. Okay. Along the Z, we want 180. Yes. So now that's our back face. So we're modeling along. We're making faces. We got 2 faces going. So far, so good. So far, so good. Okay. So if I've got 2, do I? Okay. What I think I should be able to do, I might be wrong, is I think that I should be able to create another empty, rotate it 90, add an array modifier to this whole thing in order to get to the 2 other faces. I'm going to try that. I don't know if it's going to work. Let's see. So we're going to add an empty. By the way, that wasn't working because I was in tab mode. You get a different option from this if you're in tab mode. If you're in like edit mode. Okay. So here's my plain axis empty, and I'm going to double click this, and I'm going to call that second, and I'll call this one first. First empty. You're going to be called second empty. All right. So second empty is going to be rotated 90 in the Z. I don't know if this is going to work. Okay, here we go. Add modifier. Can you add a second? Ooh, looking good. Looking good. Okay. The object is going to be second empty. Oh, getting confusing. Okay. So now, when we're editing, good. Okay, excellent. We got 4 faces going. Just the rotation's not the way that we want it to be. Okay, this is looking good. This is looking good. Okay. Second empty. What I got to do? Nope. They're all going away. So I have to rotate. Ooh. Nope. Oh, I'm close. I'm close, aren't I? Devo would know what to do. It feels like it's just an offset thing. Because I wonder if I can do it with relative offset. Oh, you missed the gift, Poppy. Yes, that's wonderful. You got a subscription bonus. Christmas presents for you. Aha, here we go. Looking good. I can probably do it with just one array modifier. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to worry about the other array modifiers later and just get to the point where we're modeling the face. So I'm going to back out of here and I'm going to hit Shift A. I'll go into picture because it always helps to have a picture of what you're doing in the background. So image, I'll try it as a background image and it'll be in D videos, nights around the table, how to play Anachrony, assets, and you do board, main board number 4. There she be. And it sticks it like that. Let's see the other option, image reference. Again, main board number 4. That's better. Or is it? Nope. What have I done? What have I done? 0, 90. There we go. That's better. Okay. So I think now I'm just free to like goof off and start modeling. I'll worry about the other 3 phases later because I'm pretty sure that I'll figure out a way to like properly array that. This is what the clipping thing does, by the way. If you don't have it clipped, it goes, you can sort of see it going into itself. But when you, so there's like a gap there, but when you have it clipping, it like fuses them in the middle, which is beautiful. That's exactly what you want. All right. Whoa, don't do what I just did. Don't do what I just did a second time. All right. Right. Groups. There, does it look accurate yet? Is that looking like a head? Ish. Great. All right. So I can already see that I'm going to need a line across here, and to do that you hit 2 so that you can hit your edges. This is the edge select mode is 2. And if you hit Control R, you can start to do a loop cut. So that makes a cut or additional geometry that goes all the way around. And if you scroll your mouse wheel, that's the number of cuts you get. So you can make it as crazy complex as you want to. I like to start out really, really simply. So I'm just going to do one like that and then go in here and say like this comes out to, I don't know, maybe about there. Whoopsies. Something like that. And then I can tell that I kind of want one kind of like down here where the cheekbone's going to go. Kind of like down here kind of thing. And probably up here so that I'll be able to shape the head into more of a circle. Circle stuff is not immediately your friend when you're doing box modeling because, you know, everything starts with such a square geometric shape. But if we do that, that's kind of approximating it. Now, I didn't think, but I'm seeing that this is kind of like smooth enough that I definitely want to put that mesh smooth modifier on it, that surface deform modifier to smooth it out. But let me just start adding a few more pieces of advanced or, you know, additional geometry. What's this out the side? Is that an ear or is that I think that's the cutout back of, yeah, that's the back of the side head, not some weird ear muff that the head's wearing. All right. I find this very relaxing if you've got the time to do it. If you don't have the time to do it and you're being paid to do it and you're under deadline, I could see it being extremely not fun. But ain't that the truth with everything? Okay, so that's what it's looking like from there now. If I go to the side, I think what I can do too is I can take this image and I can duplicate it and rotate it along the Z 90 degrees so that, look at this, when we go to the side view and I select, I wonder if I can freeze this stuff. Can I freeze it? And I can freeze it by, is there a lock button? That's one of the things I'm going to have to quickly look up. Blender, freeze. I know I can, I just forget what the shortcut is. Blender freeze, Blender lock. 2.9, this is the other thing, is you got to know your version or else you'll get 2.8, 2.8. You'll get earlier versions with stuff that doesn't. Where's the option to lock objects? This person, please help. Please help. I'm at my wit's end. Filter button in the upper right of the outliner looks like a funnel. Great. Looks like a funnel. That doesn't show me how to freeze it. Select. Mirror snap parent. No, that's not what I want. It's not what I want. I want to lock it. Did some fiddling and it might be this. No. None of that is what I want. None of that is what I want. I just want to lock object. Locking object from selection. It's the funnel. All right. Yeah, it looks like there used to be a lock button in there. Oh, it's that little arrow. There's no I don't have a little arrow. Oh, wait. It's like, yeah, show the little, that's what they're talking about, the filter. Show the little arrow. Great. And I don't want to be able to touch this guy or this guy. Superb. So, move it along the Y so that it's right like here. And now you can start doing stuff like, you know, making these all line up so that they're where they're supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? And like pretty fast. You actually, when you do it using this method, you actually find you're like, wow, I'm getting actually pretty close to the thing that I'm trying to make here. It's pretty wild. You'll see in just a moment. This has to be back here, and this has to be over here, and this has to be over here, and there's the chin. And this has to be kind of like here. I'm just constraining it to the Y. Whoa. It totally seems that, so it's like carving Michelangelo style. Yeah, there's additive carving and subtractive carving. So this is additive sculpture. It's additive, but it's not like, no, there's some subtractive stuff to it too, but it's like there's two, I believe, two main methods of modeling stuff in a piece of 3D software. There's this one's called box modeling, and there's actual sculpting. So if you've heard of a program called God, I don't even remember the name of the program now. Not Sculpey, that's the clay. Shoot, what's the thing called? It basically uses voxels. You know what voxels are? You know, pixels are like, it's a portmanteau of picture, element, pixel. I don't know if you knew that. It's kind of cool. But pixels are a 2D array of square dots on your screen, and that's how computer monitors show you images and stuff. And you know, you've probably seen in Microsoft Paint, when you zoom in really, really close on a picture, you've seen all the little pixels that make up that bitmap image. So a voxel is that, except little tiny cubes, so 3 dimensions. So Minecraft is like a voxel, piece of voxel art. So sculpting in 3D software, and you can do that in Blender. I just found that maybe my computer couldn't keep up with it, and it was going like really, really slow when I was trying to do the rules gremlin. So I decided to go for box modeling instead, because it's not very processor intensive, but you can absolutely sculpt in Blender. How are we looking? So like, it's already kind of like looking sort of like the shape of the head that we need, right? That's kind of cool, right? You just putting those two images in there. I think that's kind of neat, but I can already see that there are things that I need to add here in order to get some of this granularity. Something going on with how high my lines are. I see, it's all sloping down. Should I fix that? Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have done that. I'm going to fix. Just by constraining it to the Z. Because it'll be nicer if they're all more parallel when I'm in that other view. I'll save my brain a little bit. Okay, that's a little bit nicer. So you see, that's a little bit easier to manage, right? All right, so back to, nope, 2, sort of selecting edges. Go in here and make the bridge of the nose. So I can see I need one here just to bulb that nose out a little bit. That little bulge I can add as an extra detail in a bit. But what's more important, bigger fish to fry. Am I still sloping down? Is that why that's... Ah, yes. Ah, yes. Sound like a kiwi. No offense to kiwis. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. That inner line is the one. Yeah, interesting. I don't have a top view of this thing, so it's going to be me making stuff up and looking at the top of the head. Wherever possible, switch to other views so you don't go crazy. I want that geometry for the chin, but I want it in a different way. I kind of want a line going up this way. You know what I'm saying? I'll deal with the chin later. Here's how we're looking. Looking pretty cool. There's a really cool show on Netflix called Voir, says Fractal Dream. It has one episode called The Duality of Appeal, where they talk about the process of animating human characters. It's very interesting. Voir, yeah, is that a special effects show? I think I saw a promo for that. It's great the picture has both orthogonal views, isn't it? That's so helpful. All it's missing is the top-down view, but I think, again, I'll be able to make it up. Great. Looks like I need some geometry in here. Yeah, Davo, you mess around with stuff like this, don't you? Maybe not 3D, but I know you're into computer esoterica. And I'll need a line here to shape out the lips. Looking like a dude or a dudette, don't know, can't tell. Greek. And if we hide these guys... not the empties. Just these. Yeah, cool. So it's a start, right? It's a start. You can see it. I think it's pretty cool. All right. Okay. It's going, honestly, better than I thought it would. All right, let me think. In order to get that eye going, what would I do? I'm going to get that nose going. So I'm definitely going to need at least 2. Again, a loop cut here. I'm going to need at least 2. Let's start with 2. It's always easy to add complexity, but it can get hairy taking it away. So I like to go slow with adding stuff. Yeah, I definitely need more geometry down here to deal with that nose, don't I? So another loop cut. I'm going to start actually going in and making that nose. Make that nose. My favorite game show. It's Make That Nose. Everyone screams. June is a housewife from Ohio. She came to make that nose, hoping to get rich. Let's see if it plays out for June. Now I'm going to deviate from my grid just a little bit here. I don't know if I'm messing up. Yeah, we're still good. Look how contemplative this is too. Like how this is zen. Don't you want to do this? Doesn't this look like fun? You just turn on some ambient space music and model a super disturbing post-apocalyptic death mask. Yeah, what kid wouldn't want for Christmas to dwell on the inevitable end of all things? Yeah, that chin's going to be an interesting challenge. Again, I'm no, hopefully it's obvious by now, I'm no Blender pro. But I get by. I get by. Yes. Yes. So maybe it's time to start working on that nose, eh? I think to work on the nose, this line has to come back along the right axis. So does this one. So does this one. Are you not fused? Whoa! Don't do what I just did. You still there? Good. You make this look so easy. It is so easy. It's not hard. Like, I don't know super duper what I'm doing, but I'm getting really nice results so far. I mean, this is the calm before the storm, before I goof up, forget to save. Hold on, save as. Speaking of, Rules Gremlin, Anachrony, Tower. I'd be crushed if I saved over the Rules Gremlin. That was a close one. Yeah, we just need to take this line back in order to... okay, check this out though. What's that vertex doing there? That's not attached to anything. How much of that do I have going on? So you want to definitely delete that kind of noise. And you can do that really fast by hitting A to select all and say, let me see, select all by traits, loose geometry. And it'll show you like, aha, there's another straggling little jerk. So you just hit delete. So that'll get rid of like, it's, you know, it can be hard to see that kind of thing sometimes. So that'll help clear it up for you. Okay. The cheek, yeah, the cheek comes out. So this should go back. And along the wrong axis. Not, yes, X, I was right the first time. Whoopsies. Again, do I have a double in here too? That's very bad. That's very bad. Why do I have so many doubles? Another way that you can deal with doubles, because they'll mess you up, is you can select them both. Like if you know you have two, one's on top of the other. See, that one's there. You can just like select them and hit Alt-M and not split. I didn't say split. M, merge at center, click. And now it's like one vertex, which is great. But what I like to do is go up here to options, not to options, to one of these guys up here. I don't know. Oh, this is another thing I really like to do too. Face orientation, super crucial, because that'll tell you when it's blue, it means it's facing. Okay, so all the faces, all the big flat parts, they have what are called normals, and that determines which part of which, how do I say it? Which side faces. Which side has stuff on it? Okay, so to explain that, let me take that off for a second, and I'll try to tell you what I'm talking about. If we grabbed this face and deleted it, we would be able to see through the model. You see that hole in the model? It's just like you got a pinata, you popped a hole in it, you can go in, right? And we can see all the faces on the inside of the head, right? We can see them, but when we render them, when we actually like turn this into a picture or an object or something, they won't look right. Light won't be bouncing off of them because a face is only one-sided, right? It'll only see this side of the face. It won't see the interior side of the face. And in this view, both of them look like the exact same thing. They're both the same color gray. You wouldn't be able to necessarily tell which way that face is flipped. All faces have what are called normals, and they're depicted in 3D software as little lines sticking out that shows you which way the face is facing, which way it's directed. So which part of that one-sided flat thing is facing which way, right? And so you can turn the face normals on so you can see all those little things pointing out, and it kind of like ends up looking like Pinhead from what's the horror movie? You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, Pinhead from John Carpenter's, Wes Craven's. It'll come to me. It'll come to me. First person in Hellraiser. Thank you. Hellraiser. Kind of looks like Hellraiser. I find it really distracting. I find it a lot easier to go down and say face orientation. So now check this out. Anything that's blue is facing the camera, and anything that's red is the back side of the face, the butt end of it. So when we flip here, we see it's all blue, it's all good. That's how it should look. And inside the red stuff. So that's a great way at ferreting out stuff that's not facing the right way. And if stuff isn't working the way you want it to, you're like, what's going on? Well, turn that on and it'll help out a whole lot. I deleted this face. Don't freak out. We can get it back really easily by selecting all 4 of those edges, or hold down Alt, and sometimes it'll do the whole loop depending on where you click. Notice how I clicked this bottom one. It doesn't necessarily know where the whole loop is, but it tries. So you hit Alt, click it, and then you hit the F key, and it builds that face again. Look at that. How beautiful is that? Answer, very beautiful. Group X. No, Y. Nope, X. I was right the first time. It's definitely not Z. Definitely not Z. I think all of these need to go back. That's top view. Nope. Clearly some other jazz needs to happen there. Because nobody's face do that. What I want to do is I want to get it from the other side. It's funny, is it showing my keystrokes anymore? I don't think it is. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Up here, hit N, go down to screencast keys, hit screencast keys. There, that's better. I'm sorry, I didn't realize it stopped doing that. What I was doing here is if you hit 1 on a numpad, then you get the front view. If you hit 7, then you get the top view. If you hit 3, then you get the side view. But it's giving me the right side instead of the left side, and I kind of want the left side. And I don't quite know how to reprogram it, but I know it's possible. For sure it's possible. Yes, Clive Barker, one of my faves. I've never seen a Hellraiser movie. I just know Pinhead. I was just watching an interesting TikTok where a guy was saying that Pinhead wasn't originally called Pinhead. He was just lead Cenobite, and that's how he was credited in the movie. They didn't have a name for him, and it was the fans that started calling him Pinhead. And Wes Craven, I think, wasn't too excited about that. He thought it was an undignified name for the character, but tough nuts, man. Like, come up with a name or else somebody will for you. So that's kind of like how it went down. Definitely our lips don't come all the way out to the edge of our face, right? So all this stuff can go back here. This was really bugging me though. Why did I do this? Why is that in the middle there? Because I wanted to line it up at the bottom of that ocular. Well, maybe I'll try punching that eye out just so I get a sense of where it is. Those faces, like I said, are really easy to rebuild later. Now we're looking disturbing. Okay. Yes. The other thing I like to do... Yeah, okay. You know, that's going to be super... You know what? That's going to be hard to deal with. That's fine. That's fine. When people... When people are cruising Twitch trying to see what's happening, they'll be like, I have to click on that. It's haunting my dreams. I'm really enjoying this. Oh, thanks, Practical Dream. Oh, thanks for another hobby. First you dragged me to 3D printing. Now this, you know what? This is a natural extension, man. I was just thinking today about adjacent hobbies. There's board gaming, and then it's like super natural to get into 3D printing out of board gaming. And then it's, once you're into 3D printing, man, you might as well learn how to make your own stuff, right? That's what we're doing. It's all fine. It's all fun. It's all good stuff. Like I say, I'm super relaxed doing this. This is nice. This is like playing a super complicated Euro game in front of people and having to do math and not look like the biggest moron in the world. Not always the least stressful thing I can do with my time. Why is... let's go up here. That's more what I wanted. So yeah, it's something. I can already tell, okay, so here's some fancy stuff now. Some fancy stuff. What I want is, I don't like that these two faces are shared. I kind of want like faces going up the side of the nose. So basically I want to subdivide all these faces. So what you can do is you can hit this and hit subdivide, but that turns it into quads. That's not quite what I want. I honestly don't know. Oh, actually, you know what? Hold on. Maybe if I do this, subdivide. Oh yeah, look at that. So I hit those two. Oh, that's great. So I wonder if I could do that all the way down. Boom, boom, boom. What did I say? Yeah. Subdivide. Better, right? Now I got faces that can just go up the side of the nose like that. And then I want one, I think... What does his nose look like? I'm going to say him. Yeah, okay. I can't tell if I want it to go down here. Let me take another look. So he's got like a... I kind of want... I don't know if I want to split it like this. Let me think. Yeah, maybe I'll subdivide. Here, that did not work. Subdivide. Nope. But if you do that, and it does that, here, let me show you the fix, the rectification. So you can do that and grab that over here and then select both of them and fuse them like I showed you, merge them all, by hitting M. But I really like to do this. I like to turn this on and keep it on, if I can find it in the menu. The thing that I want to do is as follows. It is... Okay, it's in one of these. It's not you. It's not you. Okay, maybe it's in here. Motion tracking, measurement edge. It's not you. So I work in Blender. I just basically click around until options, auto merge, bang. That's what you want. So now check this out. When you grab this and move it around, if you hold down Control, it's going to snap to, if you select up here, if you tell it the snapping, you want it in vertex snapping. So instead of going like chuk 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 along certain increments along a ruler, it'll want to snap to other vertices. So if you hold Control while you do this, it's going to want to pop, you know, snap right to that closest vertex. If you go over here, boom, it wants to be on that one. I'm not clicking or anything. I'm just moving it around like snap, snap. So I snap to this one I want to merge to, and I let go. Because I've got auto merge on, if I click on that again, it's automatically fused. Beautiful. Now it can do some things you don't want it to do and merge when you don't want it to merge, but for my money, I'm pretty happy with that. What does the bottom of this nose look like? I'm not getting it. Really? All right, that is the right angle. I don't know, something about it. It's starting to look like that boss in Star Fox totally. It's looking like, is it called No in Tron? What's the Tron monster called? Okay. Or is it No in Arkanoid? Hold on. Arkanoid. Nog. No. Yeah. I was thinking the Arcanoid. What's the careful when you type Tron head into a live stream, kids. Or that. Or why not, as long as we talk about this all the time. Zardoz. Whoa, I mentioned that in another stream. There's James Bond in a mankini. Now, when I said I looked like the head from Zardoz, I didn't mean that head. When I was a younger man and I didn't have a beard, a head from Zardoz, I looked like... No, look, somebody 3D printed it. No, it's one of these guys in the headdress. Hold on. This guy. I looked like that guy from Zardoz. Quite a bit, actually. His eyes are a bit closer together than mine are, but great. Back to here. All right. So one thing I really like about the shape of the eye is that it's got like a little arch in the middle. So let's try to subdivide this, which gets us another vertex, and we can do that, which is a little closer to what we've got going on, right? So a little bit of work to do yet. I don't know how long this stream's going to go on for. I can already tell my family's not excited for me to continue a whole lot longer, but I'm having a good time. Subdivide. I take that and move it here. It's getting closer. And then these two subdivide is like enhance, you know, being in Law and Order or whatever. Enhance. And if you know about how pixels work, there's some things I just can't watch now because they're just too stupid. Whenever enhance is a thing in a show, it's like, I'm out. This show's too dumb for me. That eye shape is looking pretty faithful now, I think. It'd be really cool to light this, wouldn't it? Oh, that'd be so good. Yeah, we're still playing it. We're pretty faithful to the to the drawing. Looks pretty good. Including the drawn on mustache. Yeah, exactly. That was before I had my real guy beard. I couldn't grow a beard for the longest time. I don't know what was going on with my body, but okay. So obviously this ocular orifice is riding too high on the brow. So I need to take this. Is that the line? Nope, that's not the line. It's like this whole thing. So I should be able to just go chgoom. That was holding down Alt, as you can see. Man, I wish I knew how to get to this view much quicker. User select manager to front right. I forget, is it Control 1? No. You gotta be careful with keyboard shortcuts because everything is a keyboard shortcut in Blender and you could end up doing the wrong thing entirely. That's a little more faithful to the way an eyeball works, I think. You correct me if I'm wrong, if you know anatomy better than I do. No, don't like it. If we were to just like, merge that. It's a thing. Nope, I don't want that. No, that's bad news. Too much lines. There's something definitely up with this line. So I'm going to have to build a nostril in here somehow. What does my nostril look like? Mm. Hmm. Hmm. He's got a really flared nostril that comes... Feels like I should be able to... Like if I were to take this face and subdivide it the wrong way, delete it, and then rebuild all of this from the vertex level. So you select these 3 vertices and these 3 vertices. You got the triangle that you want in the right place. You see what I'm saying? And then over here, if I subdivide that and delete this face and then rebuild here, 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 and here, and here, 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 and here, I have kind of a nostril shape like kind of built in. It felt like cheating. That was so easy. But it needs to pop out. But not out further than the nose. The nostril's hard. It needs to... I know what it needs to do. It needs to connect at the nose right here so the nose still has a little ball coming out of it, you know? So, notice how, like, I've really tried to control how much geometry I'm adding to it. I'm just being as conservative as I possibly can. Okay, your face... That means that this face gets rebuilt so that you can be a face. Your face. Your face and your face. So it's okay. But this noise, and this, and this, the whole nose is quite large and lumpy. And he's got a really svelte, stoic nose. That's kind of like, it's doing something, isn't it? Something. I'm gonna have to put a line in here at some point so I can round the end of that. I'm amazed that this is coming together. Bobby has no faith in me. I didn't doubt you. I just didn't know that this was even a thing. No? What? 3D modeling? Or that this is a thing that I could do? Can you just copy paste for the other 4 heads once you finish one? Yes, that's my hope. You might have missed the beginning when I was kind of floundering with, there's an array modifier that you can put on it. I'm using a mirror modifier right now so that it builds both halves at the same time. But then there's an array modifier that you can do so that it has multiple copies. And I was trying to get that set up for I know you can do a rotational array. I don't know. I just have to look it up, and that would be even more boring than what I'm doing now, so I'll save it for later. I won't be able to do it on this particular stream, but in future, maybe alone, maybe on another stream, I'll have it figured out. Sorry if you got your own project that involves designing a radial, symmetrically radial 3D model, and you're like, damn it, it's the whole reason I tuned in. Look at that, I got some, look, stray, unfused. And get out of there. Delete. Anything else? Any other monkeying around going up here? No? Okay. Gotta watch that. Oh, there's one. There's one. And that stuff is, that won't, I'm gonna hit M at center, merge it. That stuff won't print properly, so you really gotta, like, be careful about checking for that kind of thing. Delete loose geometry whenever possible. More towards the end. Like, when I did the rules gremlin thing, it found holes in it that I had to go patch up and stuff. And there are methods to doing that too. Like, there's a whole thing. You can go select all by trait non-manifold. So that would be a thing that's non-manifold. That is not going to print, because anytime that you have the front and the invisible back of a face exposed like that, that's called non-manifold, or when, like, faces, like, intersect in a way that, like, it's not quite non-Euclidean, but it approaches it. Like, it would be impossible to actually print in real life. That's when you get a non-manifold warning in your in your slicer software, and it won't be able to print it. So you got to make sure you fix all of that stuff. Bop, 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 bop. Kind of feel like all of this right here needs an indent, because I don't like that it stretches right from the bridge of the nose. You know, like if I do that, and then I'll be able to grab this line, go up in the top, and it kind of just needs to like back up, I think. No, but maybe that was too much. I don't know, but he kind of looks like he's kind of got like a pretty dire brow going on here. I don't know, maybe that's just the design. He does look a bit dire, doesn't he? And then up here, like there's no smoothing or interesting, and the actual thing has this like arched, curvy kind of brow that maybe I should pay attention to now. From viewer. Oh, first time chat from who's the, did you delete it? Oh, it's a bot. Oh, get out of here. I was about to laud you for chatting for the first time. Get out of here. Be gone, bot. All right. Thank you for very much for moderating on it. I know this is not quite the everybody plays Welcome to against Ryan stream that you were hoping for, but maybe we'll do that soon in the future. That's almost what today was going to be. That almost looks like he's smiling now. I definitely need a line here. I wonder if I can see if I subdivide it, it won't subdivide it the way that I want. So I'm gonna, it seems laborious, but I'm gonna do it the hard way, which is in fact quite easy. Yeah, right? So this looks like it should merge down here, and if I do that, then this one can merge down here, and if I do that, then I don't need this one. And then this, can he, does it come to a point? His lips. What have I done? Yeah, but obviously you can see I'm going to need some geometry right there, like that. Right there. So if I take that, subdivide it, get rid of the face. Again, there's probably a zippier way to do that. Throughout the past year, I've been getting better with modeling in Blender, and just there have been things that people have shown me, like, oh, to do this, you just like hit this keystroke and it does this laborious thing that took you 15 minutes in like seconds flat. I'm like, oh, what? And it was really weird too. Like Blender, like it'll do things like, you know, I'm trying to do this really complicated thing, and you know, it's just going to be tremendously time consuming and laborious to do. And then there's a keystroke for it. It's like there's an app for that. There's like a keystroke for it in Blender. I'll be like, what? Are you kidding me? I think one of the projects I'm working on is specialty domes for underwater cities. And so one of the things I was doing is modeling this dome, and it had all these, it was like not an icosahedron, but a something-ahedron with all kinds of like, it was, maybe it was an icosahedron. They were heptagons and they were various n-gons, various mixtures. And I'm like, oh shoot, to inset them, I have to be able to select every heptagon in the shape, and they're not all heptagons, otherwise I'd just be able to range select the whole thing. And I was like, oh, clicky, 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 took forever. And then I was watching like a tutorial, and this guy was doing something similar, and he's just like, oh, you can just go boom, select by similar heptagon. It selects all the heptagons. I'm like, are you kidding me? That's madness. It's a pretty cool program. Subdivide and control merge. So that's going to be a little bit closer to the lip shape that the thing has. I'm going to probably put a line in here too to make it super lippy. Yes. I'm You know, subdivide, and then 3 do. Get rid of this thing and rebuild these faces. Again, I think rebuilding these faces cannot be the proper way to do it. There's got to be a much faster way to go about that. But this one. And bring them out like that. Does that sort of shape the lip a bit more? Luscious. You got space in here, and he does not have space in there. Although his lip sort of like ends here. Yeah, and then it goes straight up to his nose. It's not the worst thing I've ever done. Yeah, it's not terrible. I just wonder if I should crimp it right in here. So these two, you know what I'm saying? Here, I'll show you. Delete this face, rebuild. Oh, I need this to be subdivided, so nope, hello. So if I build that face, and then I go here. Again, I wish I knew how to get to Sesame Street. Look at these luscious puckers. I think so. It's kind of the dire looking mouth that they're going for, right? The Grace Jones lips. So now this thing, yeah, it's okay. It's okay. I don't know, that slope down from that nose is bothering me a little bit. Just feels like this needs to be crimped. This is you at your Bob Rossiest happy little lip rendering I never Hilarious. Hopefully they don't sue my family for my estate and make merchandise that none of my family members see money from. Are you kidding me? I'd love it if that happened. I'd be remembered. My family would be broke, but I'd be remembered. Okay, here we go. That is now that you've said it, I'm going to morph more into Bob Ross accidentally. I don't know. I think it's looking all right. It's looking pretty good. Those lips are pretty, they're pretty luscious. I'm going to work on the lower lip now because the top lip looks sort of silly just being luscious on its own. Now the bottom lip needs to be just as luscious. So let's see what we can do about that. What's his bottom lip doing? It's puffy and it comes out like that. So I need more. I don't quite need a loop cut, but I definitely need these guys to be a little bit more, have more fidelity. And they got to go back. Yeah, it's hard to do like that roundy stuff in box modeling. It's tough. But I'll get it. Like I say, I was so pleased with myself for getting that rules gremlin going. He's upstairs, by the way. He's on the SLA printer. Getting did with his new. See this one, you can see, maybe I'll switch to the Ryan cam so it's a bit bigger. You can see how I'm so happy with him. You can see how tiny his feet are though, right? Like it's really hard to get him to stand because woo! He just broke entirely, but that's okay. He was really top heavy. Here, I'll bring this. He's really top heavy. because all of this is solid resin. It's all filled in. So one of the modifications I made for the one that's printing now is that the whole thing is hollowed out. So first of all, he won't have this, huge wrecking ball on top of his little skinny neck pulling him forward. I took his feet, which just snapped off, and made them a lot thicker and beefier so that he'll have something more to plant on. And then his body too is not going to be filled with resin anymore. It's going to be hollowed out. And then I just made the model bigger. So Rules Gremlin says Omelette. I love him, sorry you broke. That's okay. That was just a tester. It's not the real Rules Gremlin. The real Rules Gremlin, one ear is kind of like bent, and you can barely see his teeth here. I modeled his teeth, but they're not really showing up all that well. Wait till you see the next one coming out of the printer. Oh boy, he's going to be so good. I'm excited. Okay, so where does... Yeah, I think the Rules Gremlin has a little bit more personality than this creepy head. Notice how the lower lip is almost like... I don't know if it's going to meet at the same corner as the upper lip. It almost looks like maybe it's just a shading thing. Yeah, your lower lip wouldn't be narrow. It's got to go to the same place. Come on now. Come on, let's be reasonable about this. Okay, so that means that this face goes away. And this one gets rebuilt. I almost want to do the same thing here, actually. Have that kind of thing going on. If I do that, then I want to subdivide that so that I can... This is a neat thing too that I learned this week while I was doing the Rules Gremlin. If you want to move this around, but one of the things in 3D is that if you move this around, you don't quite have a great sense of where it's going in the axis that you're not looking at, because you're just looking at it always on a 2D plane, right? So you could go like, oh, that's perfect. And then you go into another view and the vertex is like a mile out along a different axis. If you wanted to move this vertex and just slide it along the edge that it already exists on, which is what I want to do now, Shift V will do that. Look how it's hugging that edge, right? No problem. A little tip from the expert who just learned it a day ago. Yeah, that's something. It's something. I feel like, just like the top lip, I feel like I need a little bit of a platform here. Just to shape those lips out and get them looking luscious and good. And it feels to me like this lower lip should be beefier than the top lip. I don't know though. I'm just a caveman. I'll go with my guide. I didn't do this, by the way, through the Rules Gremlin. I just kind of like muddled through and hoped it went well. I think that's looking okay. Creepy. Something about the nostril. I've not done a good job. I've not done a good job on the nostril, and I don't know why. This line needs to go back. That's step one. What needs to happen with the nostril to make it more nostrily? Do I need to almost like subdivide this, get rid of this, rebuild this, so that I can, you know what I mean? Or maybe go along here. You know what I mean? Cut along there. Yeah, maybe that's what I gotta do. Subdivide. Cut along there so that I can pull that from the top. Pull that in? This one in? Does that make it more Nostril, it's still kind of weird. Still kind of weird. I think I've done a bad job. It's weird though, right? Weird. Yeah, I don't know. I'm really curious to see what it'll look like. I think part of the problem is that this connects... Yeah, no, that would be it, right? I think. If you wanted to, like, make a nostril hole, you'd hit I to inset that face. Then you would hit E to pull it up. But that would be if I was happy with that nostril, and I'm not, so I'm not going to do that quite yet, if at all. Maybe I went the wrong way with these. Mr. Noodle, that's not how you draw a nostril. Totally. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, the difference with Bob Ross, though, is that, first of all, he's rich and famous, and second, he knew what he was doing. So, core difference. It's looking alright, though. It's looking alright. What do you think? Do you think it's looking good? No camera! Oh my god. What was that? 10 minutes? 10 minutes of yammering? Did I do the whole lip with the wrong camera view? Oh my god. Well, what do you think? Look, surprise! There's what the lip's looking like. Now that I look at it, I realize what I want to do to it. Oh, what I'm going to do to you. If I grab that... and grab that, and grab that. Sorry guys, thank you for reminding me. I can kind of get the dour, pouty look on those lips. I'm like getting good use of that that new rules gremlin emoji. Thank you for that. Wow. Oh, it's only 10 minutes. I'll cut it out in post. Your eye... Yeah, I think it's okay. It feels like it could use another line down there just to... You know what I mean? I don't like that it put it all the way around the back like that, though. But that's what loop cut's gonna do. I wonder if I can go back here and just dissolve all of those. This one, this one, this one, this one. This one, not that one, that one. And that one, that one, that one. That one, that one, that one, that one. Dissolve. Nope. Delete. Dissolve edges. Yeah, look at that. There they go. It just melts them away. And why did I want to do that? Because I wanted to grab these ones. At least those ones. Just to round that out a little bit. Okay, so this is the thing that I wanted to do. So I wanted to add... Oh my gosh, Share's brought me dinner. Does that mean it's time to go?
I don't think it's...
Well, it might be time to go. I don't want to eat on stream.
I don't know if it's too much. Or
Well,
just load it to the camera.
Thank you. That's so nice of you. Look at that, everybody. It's dinner for Share.
Breakfast for dinner.
Breakfast for dinner. I will cut it short. Let me move these Zaya pieces. Not cut it short, but I think that's a pretty good place to end. The last thing I'll do, though, is I want to add a subsurface modifier on it, smooth it out, just so you get a sense of more of what it'll look like and the power of box modeling. Yeah, not bad, eh? Not bad, not bad. Now, I didn't, sink in, put recesses behind the eyes and everything to make it look like that, but Okay, I'll show you. This part's really cool though. This part's really, really cool. Okay, so here's how it's looking. Obviously, when I take those off, I can see all kinds of changes I'm going to need to make to the nose to make the nose a little bit better. It looks a little flat, right? I want the lips to protrude, so I want to bring more of the face back. But, you know, it's looking all right so far, I think. Not bad for a couple of hours work. Now check this out. If you go to Add Modifier, Subdivision Surface, oh, look at the free niceness you get, right? And you can change the level of smoothness you get. Of course, the higher up you make that go, the more chuggy your computer will be working with it. And you definitely don't want to model with, or I found you don't want to model with this turned on. Sorry, I shouldn't eat at you. Because it can get really confusing fast. So what you can do is you can just hit this. No, that's, you can hit, all you got to do, guys, check this out. It's easy. You have to, there we go. That's the button. You have to hit that button. You can just turn it off and on really, really easily, which is nice. Or if you have it on, you can go into thing and you can actually, so this shows the box modeling cage. So you can do that when you're still box modeling, but see, like, it takes liberties and you have to do certain extra things. Getting hard edges is difficult, depending on what you're going for. There's a lot more work to do on this. I'm going to shape the brow. Anyway, whatever. All I'm seeing is my imperfections, but it's a good start. If you want the cage to conform to what the mesh smooth modifier is doing, you can go to, you see the, maybe subdivision isn't the one I wanted. Was it subdivision or subsurface modifier? Subdivision surface. No, that's the one I wanted. Yep, I had it on the right one. You can choose the following option. Hold on. It is, nope, I forget. But there's an option where you can make the cage like conform to what the curves are doing. Use creases, use custom normals. No, that's not it. No, that's not it. It's one of those options. Anyway, it's super cool. Like, trust me, it exists and it's there and it's neat and you'll love it. But yeah, that's how you do a little bit of box modeling. I'm going to continue with this. Maybe not on camera, but maybe, I don't know, we'll see. You know, Christmas is coming up. It's hard to program content because I never know where I'll be for the next few days. But maybe you learned a little bit of something. Oh yeah, I am looking to rate somebody. Thank you, Poppy. Who's up? I just got a notification for Tail Wagging Games going live. Cool. Who, yeah, what are our options? Maybe, I don't know if Omelet's paying attention, but let's take a look at, nobody's queued up for a raid. Silly question, maybe. I think there's an app for the phone that can scan a 3D object. There are a few apps for the phone that can scan a 3D object. I haven't tried them yet, but I think that they are, I'm guessing that they're okay. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it did a pretty decent job, I guess, kind of thing. Like, maybe I haven't tried them, but I don't think you're gonna get like, you know, knock them out of the park results. But I think with this, you can get knock it out of the park results. You can get really, really nice stuff going. Have you considered scanning the AI bot and carving out the for comparison? Have I considered scanning? Oh, considered scanning the exosuit, you mean, and carving out the face. What I don't like about the exosuit is that it doesn't look like the statue. It's a face, but it's not the same face as the one on the statue. So it's an interesting thought, but I want to be as faithful to that piece of artwork as I possibly can. So I thought, like, oh, you put it on a big shaft, but it's actually not on a shaft. Look, it's on this weird, like, complex with this geometry I'm going to have to do. And like, I like these little lines that kind of like, you know, indicate like neck tendons that look all cool. So I'm going to do those, but I'd like it to look as close as possible to those faces. And this one kind of doesn't hit the mark. So I wouldn't try. And it's also, they're not starting for 7 minutes. I can talk for 7 minutes. That's totally fine. It's also, what was I going to say? I don't know if it's too little for the phone to scan things. I have no idea. I've never used that scanning software, but that's like pretty small detail for the phone to pick up. Big opening at the bottom, sort of like a dice tower. You really want this to be a dice tower, right? Like, eventually what I'm going to do is when I get the whole thing modeled, I'm going to have to like do like a really uneven, and you can do it with a tool called knife. Hold on. Let's see if we can do that. What is the shortcut for knife? Knife. I forget. There's a knife tool. Hold on. Blender, knife, shortcut. K. Okay, so you hit K. K. Oh, don't say KKK. That's not nice. Maybe I have to be in this mode. You can just like, yeah, maybe knife is not the right thing, but look, I just like hit space and it cut that whole line in. So like doing like a really natty thing and like cutting a big like carvy line in there and being able to split off a piece of the model, that's going to be like the easy part. Once the hard part is getting it to look cool. Oh, just looking at that nose, like this whole cheek section needs to punch in a whole lot more. Anyway, that's for later. I'll work on it later. I just got to move that nostril back. Oh, it's obsessive now at this point. I got to get it looking really good, but it'll look really good. I have faith. Won't that be cool to have on the table? How's Tail Wagging Games doing? Did I talk for 7 minutes? No, not quite yet. Should I tell you stories of what I'm working on and what's coming up? Maybe I should. Today was supposed to be a photography day, but nobody wants to do photography. You're saying dice tower. I'm saying little fan. I'm saying little pieces of tissue paper simulating flames. Oh, it'll be so cool. I don't quite know what's going on at the top of the head though. There's got to be some sort of infrastructure that these masks are like attached to. See that like pipe connecting the cheeks? So I'm going to have to make up a little bit of it. Excuse me. I went through the storytelling book and tried to find if there were other pieces of artwork. I don't even know too, like, do you think the back of that mask is like hollowed out? Should I put a big impression or indent in the back there? Or what does that look like in the back? It's hard to say. But I don't know. That's a problem for future me. Also getting that four-way radial mirroring going is going to be a thing too. I hope it's not too late to do that. It shouldn't be. It should be fine. Is the BG music from Lo-Fi? No, the BG music is from... Where's the BG music from? It's either from the YouTube library or it's from pixabay.com, which is where I get a lot of the whenever I use in my how to play videos title cards that have like photographic artwork in between the sections, that photo stuff is all from Pixabay. You want it sort of a double layer so you can pull off the good face for after the impact. I more thought, so what I was picturing, it's an interesting way to go, but I wanted to put like, okay, so picture the whole thing's built, right? I wanted to put like a big crack, like right down here and like up so that you can like pull a whole chunk of it out because, if I could grab the thing, hold on, I'll show you. These jammies don't stay on my body properly, so if there was ever going to be a wang slip on the live stream, this is going to be it. Or you're going to see my butt. I got to be really careful to avoid a wardrobe malfunction. Give me a moment. Hold on. Just for safety. Just a second. Just for safety. And we're back. So this is what I'm talking about. Look, it's got like a whole, like, chunk taken out of part of the statue when you flip it, when impact happens. So that's what I want it to look like. Just like, cut a big hole and that whole piece will just lift out. Won't that be cool? 4 minutes. Thank you for the update. Can I eat a couple of eggs? A little bit of bacon? What's everybody getting for Christmas? Hollow-ish. Yes, hollow-ish. That's another thing I should show you. Sorry about the food. If you have a mesh, like a cube, let me just get it away from my mask here. So you got a cube and like you want to hollow it out. There's a couple of options that you have. If it's simple geometry, you can go down here to solidify, and then you can adjust the, hold on, let me see here. You can adjust the thickness of it, and you can see like inside it's like hollowing it out. So it's got like an insideness to it. So it's hollow. That's fine for simple geometry, but I'll show you what happened with the rules gremlin. Yes, I saved my file. So he's complex, very complex. So if we took him and we went to the same thing and we added a solidify subdivision modifier, and you start goofing around with thickness, like it'll hollow. He's a explode. It'll hollow out the head, okay, but then like the arms are a lot thinner than the head. So if you do 2 millimeters on the head, it like goes the opposite way, and those red faces, like I said before, are inverse faces, and you don't want that. So that was not the best way to go, but I did need the head to be hollowed out. There's a few different ways to do it. I hope the easiest thing, and it's still printing, but I hope the easiest thing was to use a piece of software called Mesh Mixer by Autodesk. Or Adobe? Is it Adobe? It's by Autodesk. And they're collecting all sorts of stats on you. There's this whole page at the beginning like, are you sure you don't want us to know your shoe size? I'm like, no, don't look at my shoe size. Kind of creepy. Here we go. So you export an STL file out of Blender, and then you import it here. So you can see I did this a whole bunch of times. I was on take 5. So here it is, and the scale is a little bit too small, so I had to go down to scale, actions, units. I just had to scale them up a bit, so I had to multiply that by calculator. Just a friendly reminder that there's now a Ryan Does Math emoticon. That times 8, so 65.9, so 66 millimeters. Now he's the right scale. And then you go down to, this is free software, by the way. I love working with the free software. You go down to edit, and you go to hollow, and you can tell it how many millimeters you want the hollowness to be. So you can see like his eyes are spheres, so it's putting a bit of material in where his eye spheres are, but you can see the thickness of the hollowness in his head. So it's going to mostly hollow out his head and then hollow out his body, and then leave his super thin arms and hands and legs and everything alone. So you hit accept, and then that hollows it out. So then you export that as an STL out of Mesh Mixer, and you go into your favorite slicer. I like to use Lychee Slicer. This is the software that cuts it all up into slices so your printer can manage it. And then I use there's different ones for SLA and PLI printers. So if you're going to go resin, you're doing SLA. This is the software that I like. Update and restart. Okay. Trying not to eat. Ryan Does Math. There they are. Trying not to eat in the microphone. Lego Razor Crest. What are we talking about? That's the ship from The Mandalorian? Oh, that's what you're getting for Christmas. Oh, exciting. I was like, what is he even talking about? Why is he naming cool toys out of nowhere? Okay, update and restart. Don't make a fool out of me here, Lychee. I'm already enough of a moron. Tail Wagging Games is queued up and ready to raid. Let me hit the button. This will be the last thing I show you. If it's the last thing I do. That gives me a minute 30. Hopefully this finishes updating by minute 30. Go, raid, go. Okay. Yep. Go for it, Lychee Slicer. It's kind of, it's installing. I don't know. Do you use a different? Who has an SLA printer in thing? Resin printer. That's what I'm talking about. Thanks for the cool stream. Oh, thanks, Poppy. I'm glad you could join me. I know it's kind of a weird one. Not super board game relevant, but board game adjacent for sure. I've got something planned for Practical Dream that I think is going to be really appealing too, and I hope the rest of you will like it. But it's going to be a lot of rhyme. There's a bit more of a asymmetry too, like his teeth are asymmetrical. So after I copied the model over and I did the little curly Q on his head, I had to do his teeth as well. Come on, do it, Lychee Slicer. Will Lychee Slicer load by the time that before we raid? How fast can I do this? Oh, is the raid gonna happen? Checking licenses. Here we go. Okay. Decline recovery. Add files. Rules Gremlin. I don't know. So you know, export that, and there he is. 10, 9, 8, and you go to prepare and you add supports. 4, 3, 2. I'll show you that next time. Thanks, everybody.
Did you just watch that whole thing? Oh, hey, to 100% this video, click the badge to subscribe and then click the bell to get notifications when I've got new stuff.